I'm on a chopper with Steve Rainey. Steve Rainey is a man of God and a dairy farmer. Been farming for a lot of years. Hey Steve, how many years have you been farming?
Yeah, this is my 40th year. I started in 73.
Okay, and I know in farming there's been a lot of changes. Give me some idea of the change in yield that you get now from the corn that you plant compared to when you first started.
And when we started, we would get more like 75 bushels, and that was a pretty good yield. Now we have pushed up the yield to about 200, in a good year. Just a lot of things have changed. The hybrids have gone to where we plant a higher population, and gone to where we can spray it Roundup, and we've gone up 100-fold.
Yeah.
What we used to get.
And I know you being a man of God, one of the things that God spoke to you about early as a farmer was the whole idea of tithing, giving back to God 10%. And you've been doing that ever since. But tell me this other story. This other story is so funny about, how God asked you to give even above that and how God took care of it. Tell me that story one more time.
Okay, Frank. This was some years ago. I had been in dairy business for about 5 years and never had sold any livestock or as cows to other dairymen. And that's when it happened, this incident. But before that, I had a note coming due of $4,850. And I had $500 always in the farm account. And God had asked me to give $300 to a circumstance in the church. And I argued with God that that was kind of being impossible. This note coming due, how could I possibly do that? And I argued with him a couple of days on it because I never had really given. I tithed, had no problem with tithing. And anyway, I decided to. He kind of talked me through it and said, "What are you gonna do with $500 when you owe $4,800?" So he almost like he kind of chuckled about it. And so I said, "Yep, God, you're right." And so I went on and wrote the check within 10 minutes of that time and said, well, I just have to hope for the best. You've never experienced quite being in that kind of predicament at that time. And the next thing that happened was about 2 days later, I had a neighbor, Mr. Jones, gave me a call and said, I need some cows. Could you help me out? And I said, well, I think I've got a few here that we can work out. And I know they sold cows before to another dairy, so didn't know how to price them. So we made agreement on the cows, and I told him that he would have to do the price, and I won't expect anything like what he offered. Anyway, he came back and he said, Steve, this is what I can do. And he had a check in his hand for $4,850.
That is awesome.
Just God met me in a needy time in my life, and it's been just amazing to watch him work in different instances like that.
That's so cool. Thank you, Steve, for sharing your testimony with us, and we appreciate that. God does take care of us.
He does.